20-something years, though. God is good to the players, always. I know that's right. Let's do a little something. Mike 6, see Rich.
Thank you. You embodied yourself. Anyways, like I was just saying. Are
you done or are you finished or are you gonna let me retort?
Okay, go ahead.
Are you done or are you finished? You're gonna let me retort?
Go ahead.
Or you're on pause?
No, go ahead. Please. You just said not to compare George Foreman and Ray Ruddick, so go ahead.
You initially threw in Razor Ruddick and you compared him to...
No, I said George Foreman first, right? And you said, are you really going to count an old George Foreman?
That's not what I said. That's not what I said. Sir, that's not what I said. That's not what I said. If you're going to quote what I said, at least quote exactly. I said, are you going to compare an old Razor Ruddick? That's what I said.
No, I said George Foreman, then you interrupted and said, are you really going to count an old George Foreman? And that's when I replied.
No, again, if you're going to quote me exactly. I said, are you going to compare an old Razor Ruddick? I said Razor Ruddick.
If you're going to have some input and not contradict yourself, then go ahead and talk, but you just contradicted yourself.
Well, if we're going to have
to talk about George Foreman, who also became a champion in his 40s, just like Bernard Hopkins did, and you told me not to use him as an example, well, then you just contradicted yourself.
And if we're going to have an honest discussion here, at least...
So anyways, if you have some input, then go ahead. If not, then stay out. Go ahead.
If you're going to have an honest discussion here, please quote me exactly. I said Razor Ruddick. Now, if you have a hard of hearing, that's on you.
Okay, YG, were you just listening? Didn't he tell me?
Yeah, don't bring YG in, man. Don't bring YG in there. Don't bring YG.
Don't bring no YG in.
Nah, you and him. It's you and him, bro. Yeah, let's go.
I said Razor Ruddick.
You want to say Tommy Morrison was a favorite to beat George Foreman.
I said Razor Ruddick. Get that clear first off.
You didn't.
I said Razor Ruddick.
I'm telling you what I heard. I'm telling you what I heard.
You heard wrong. You heard wrong. Get the wax out your ears.
Okay, so everybody on the panel. He didn't say you really mentioned old George Foreman.
Nah, he said Razor Ruddick. He said Razor Ruddick.
I said Razor Ruddick. Thank you.
Got it, man. YG, you were listening, right?
EJ, you did I say?
Yeah, I heard you heard. He Razor Ruddick. That's what he said.
I said Razor Ruddick.
Yeah.
Now get the wax out your ears.
Who said, are you really going to mention an old George Foreman?
Nobody. I didn't. I said, are you going to mention the old Razor Ruddick? That's what I said. Now, if you heard George Foreman, go to that person. But don't go to me with that.
Yeah, did you say it?
Nah, man, you're on your own. Come on, defend it. Defend your point. You're on your own, bro. Defend your point.
Well, nobody else said it.
No. Mike.
If nobody else said it, it was obviously you. So now you're just lying and saying that you're only talking about Ray.
So EJ Boxing Live. EJ Boxing Live. What did I just say? Did I say Razor Ruddick or did I say Foreman?
I got you, Mike. I got you.
Can I also say that in the first fight with
Razor Ruddick, Mike. Razor Ruddick.
Hold on, no. EJ,
yeah.
If you're gonna say I'm on my own, then you got to be quiet, man.
All right, you're right.
All right, hold on. Can I say
no. Let him go.
Yo. Can I get in that real quick? First fight with Dawson and Hopkins. No, Dawson was the
Nah. Hey, continue, Mike, because I'm biased, man.
You really could. Look,
yo, Mike, let him continue, no place. Yo, no place. No place.
I don't appreciate it.
Yo, place, let me continue. Let him continue. Go ahead, bias. Go ahead, Mike.
I'm being lying on here, and I don't appreciate it. And until he corrects himself, then it's nothing to go further with.
Nobody on the panel said anything about George Foreman. I just asked him. Right? And I definitely did.
I will say I did. I will if you know me to. I will.
Okay, so nobody. When I said George Foreman's name, right?
I may have. I believe I did. And
Lowe said Foreman.
And the reason I did that is because George Foreman. One second. George Foreman was ducking. George Foreman was purposely ducking. He didn't want to fight nobody. Hold on. He's purposely ducking. He was not a champion considering himself as the best. He just came back and got a victory that was good for him to get. And he really didn't want to be a reigning champion. But Bernard Hopkins at that age was trying to be a reigning champion and fought the number 2 rated guy in the division. That's the difference in the fighter you're talking about. George did something amazing. but he wasn't trying to fight the number 2 rated guy, number 3 rated guy. He was just trying to get that check. That's it.
So my this is
so.
But
so
Dan,
now that
I don't want to talk to Michael because this dude's a liar because he's the only. Nobody else on the panel was said George Foreman, so clearly it was him. I'm not talking about.
I said George Foreman.
I didn't say
George Foreman.
George Foreman. I just told you why I said George Foreman.
But you didn't say, an old George Foreman.
I did say that. I did say that, bro.
That was you that said it then.
Yes, because I believe George came back in the fight that was conducive for him, and then you seen when people start wanting to fight. You saw the commentary what he was doing, and he got pressed. He got pressed by Riddick Bowe. He didn't want to do no number 2, number 3. He went down.
Yo, Michael was some justice there, my bias. Michael wants some justice now. He wants some justice.
Okay. Well, then,
I want some justice because when you mentioned when the comparison was made to Razor Ruddock, that's when I jumped in.
All right. So then I heard low place, and if that's the case, then I apologize.
But I'll explain a little bit on my position. I do not like Bernard Hopkins as a fighter, but what I will give him, Chad Dawson was the number 2 rated man in that division, and he fought him. Okay. Your boy George, big as he was, he didn't want to get in there with the number 2s. So I gotta say, Bernard Hopkins failed to give another fighter, and that gotta mean something at that point.
This is what you're forgetting. I'm not comparing Tommy Morrison to Chad Dawson. I'm comparing Tommy Morrison to Steve Cunningham, who Dan said Steve Cunningham has a better resume than Tommy Morrison, and I don't agree with that. Cunningham. Of course, Chad Dawson has a better resume than Tommy Morrison. I'm not disagreeing with that. Steve Cunningham.
Cunningham moved up to heavyweight, beat a gold medalist, and got robbed. What else he's done? Let's see. He fought for.
No offense, but Cunningham just done more at cruiserweight than Morrison ever did at heavyweight.
He beat Marco Huck. Yeah, Marco Huck.
Steve Cunningham. Who'd he beat?
He beat Marco Huck. He KO'd Marco Huck.
And beat him on the road.
So Marco,
what else? What's the guy went on to become the champion? Went on to become the champion? I can't remember the damn Russian.
Yeah, Mike wasn't unbiased to continue, man. I was enjoying that, man. Go ahead.
Nah, because I just don't like being lied on, man. Don't lie on me. That's all.
Bring the receipts, boy. Michael brought the receipts.
Bro, you got to give Cunningham his respect. Cunningham been a better fighter. Stop your shit.
No,
Cunningham been a better fighter.
EJ likes to egg people on, man.
Why did you? Hey, listen, you don't want to call him a liar now. Michael came with the receipts.
Yeah, man. I've never heard no place not sound country, so I assumed that it was him because that's who I was talking to.
No problem.
You know what I'm saying? So, but I
it sound country, but I was still being lied on, though. I mean, Cunningham, he beat Marco Huck, he beat Zwan, he beat Troy Ross, he beat Juan Pablo Hernandez. Who did Marco Huck beat? He knocked down Tyson Fury when he was a much smaller man, so you got to give him credit. Yeah, but that doesn't mean he has a better resume than Tommy Morrison. Yes, it does. Morrison had done nothing. Bro. Okay. Outside the Foreman win, what did Morrison do?
He played. Morrison is known for beating the guy that didn't want to fight nobody, man. That's what he knows.
And please don't count Morrison's knockout win over an old ancient Razor Ruddock. Don't count that,
bro. It still counts.
No, it don't.
Yes, it does. It happened.
The same Ruddock who came back after how many year layoff? Come on, man.
Well, let me ask you this. Let me ask somebody this question. Is that what's the better way? Chad Dawson beating Bernard Hopkins or Tommy Morrison beating Razor Ruddock?
Chad Dawson beating Bernard Hopkins.
Okay, then. So okay, thank you, man. So you're telling us?
I never compared Ruddock to Hopkins. I compared Foreman to Hopkins.
Damn, bro, what happened to your voice? Yeah.
I know.
But if you're going to compare Foreman to Hopkins, you have to look at the as well.
But for real though, Hopkins had a better run as a champion than Foreman. I like Foreman. He did. Hopkins was still fighting the best of the best at light heavyweight. People thought he shouldn't have been doing that. He was freaking nearly 50 years old doing it.
Look, Foreman got a lot of respect.
Wait, hold on. Didn't George Foreman fight Evander Holyfield?
Yeah, but who did he fight after that? Tommy Moore?
Michael Moore.
Yeah, then after he fought Michael Moore,
Michael Moore was undefeated at the time.
And who did he fight after Michael Moore?
He fought Scholes. He fought Briggs. Who else did he fight?
The same Axel Schultz who also lost to Michael Moore.
Yeah, exactly. So who would he? Okay, you compare those guys and compare to who Hopkins fought at light heavyweight.
Mm-hmm.
Okay then.
Bryce, you getting that work today, Bryce? Bryce, you getting that work today, boy?
You also have to bring in who they fought as well.
Bryce, you getting that work today, boy? Yeah, it's unfair. Work today, man. Everyone's getting you that body, man.
He been deserving it, man. He been deserving it the way he been acting.
Okay. So,
and that's coming from a country sounding dude. I'm just saying.
Which weight class do you guys want to look at for Hopkins?
Hey, I'm biased, man. This is one of the rare times you got me. This is one of the rare times you got me siding with low place on this one.
No, man. That's it, man.
Yeah.
That's it. You've been bodied, man. That's it.
I mean, EJ done throw low place out, and on this one, low place is right.
So I just don't get the disrespect to Chad Dawson. I just don't get it. I don't understand. Like, who did the man not fight? Who did the man not fight?
Yeah, but look, to be fair, though, as you said, though, Chad Dawson got way better quality wins than Vladimir Klitschko did at heavyweight. Klitschko got the quad. Yeah, Klitschko got the quality of the wins.
That was never my point. My point was Chad Dawson just got knocked out.
But
right?
you said
that he had to go back up in weight. Klitschko didn't get beat up as much with the Fury.
Well, but didn't you also say that Klitschko had a better resume than Dawson? Didn't you say that?
No, I never said that. No, I never said that. Never said that.
All right.
Again, this is the only thing that I disputed with you. Steve Cunningham having a better resume than Tommy Morrison. I don't agree.
Yeah, he did. Yeah,
that's in your opinion, he does.
Yeah, he did. At cruiserweight, he did more.
Marco Huck is such a great win in your opinion. I don't see that though. But
it is a good win. I mean, he did more cruiserweight than Tommy Morrison did at heavyweight. I mean, aside from, as Mike said, aside from him beating George Foreman, what else did Tommy Morrison did? What else did he do after that?
Mm-mm.
I still consider Razor Ruddock a good win too. Because power
old ancient Razor Ruddock who came in after how many years layoff.
Power doesn't leave you.
It's getting downhill, man. This is getting downhill fast, boy.
Yeah.
Alvarez, I like you, brother, but come on, man.
I like him too, but just to discredit Chad Dawson because he went down in weight and then he came. You gotta realize Chad Dawson done been stripped of titles because of HBO. The man resilient, bruh. Like, just to say, he's 30 years old, taking a year off to get back up in weight. It ain't no excuses at that point. You coming back versus what's supposed to be a tune-up, and you got knocked out in one punch. Like, you cannot. How are you hating that? How are you hating it? And honestly, hold on. And honestly, you got to be guessing the hate. You got to be putting your guess in to say that one punch told me everything I need to know. And my guess is that Chad Dawson was done. You don't know what that man was ready to do in the 8th, 9th, 10th round. You don't know. You have no clue.
Oh no.
You have no clue. One punch satisfied everything.
No clue.
I look at context.
That's deep, man.
I look at context. The dude got knocked out, then had to go back up in weight. Regardless of what you're saying,
that's his weight.
Klitschko fought Fury, and he didn't really get any damage in that fight. Like none, almost.
Okay. How old was Klitschko? Hold on. How old was Klitschko? How old was he? How old was he? How old was Vladimir? How old was Vladimir Klitschko when he took a year and a half layoff before he fought AJ? How old was he?
I think he was 40.
Okay, now how old was Chad Dawson? I said 10 years younger, still in a prime age. Mm-hmm. It matters, bro. Mm-hmm. It's going to matter. And you keep saying going back up in weight, that is his natural weight. If you drain me, I weigh 200 pounds right now. You drain me down to light heavyweight, I can't wait to get back. I can't wait to get back to cruiserweight, bro. I can't wait. That's what you're supposed to do.
Same thing with Brooke and Triple G. He went up in weight, right? Got stretched, came back down in weight. What? Got stretched. Same thing. So
no. He fought like a G. He fought like a G. And I've said it about Earl Spence too. Earl Spence underperformed. He could have performed better, but I give Kell Brook a lot of credit because he showed up. It's what it is. That's why I told you Adonis Stevenson special, because what he did, the other guys that you like today aren't doing. Joshua, Spence, they didn't do what he did, and they ain't 35 years old. I'm just saying. That's all. So I'm not overinflating anything. The dude did what people don't do, okay? Closest thing to it today is a new way with the shit he just did to that boy at 118.
Now you're just gonna, inflate Adonis Stevenson. So
I ain't inflate nothing. I didn't throw the punch. I'm just recalling the history. I ain't inflate nothing. Yeah. I'm recalling the history, bro.
Let's go.
The underdog threw one punch, and you want to believe whatever you want to believe instead of accepting that this man was 30 years old. Chad Dawson, 5 years younger, the favorite, the bigger, naturally bigger fighter, the more experienced fighter, the guy who had all the time in the world to recover, came back when he wanted to come back. He got knocked out in one punch. And I still believe Chad Dawson, to me, is a Hall of Famer. I will put Chad Dawson in the Hall of Fame for everything he done for the sport. He took fights he didn't have to take.
Nobody's disputing that. I'm only, again, you got to put it into context what happened to him before the fight. That's all I'm saying. Klitschko didn't take damage really.
What happened to Klitschko after the Fury fight? What happened to him? His
wife left him. His wife had mental breakdowns. All that shit, right?
Klitschko hardly got any damage in the fight.
You think that woman leaving him to be a single daddy ain't damaged?
She didn't leave him, to be fair. She was suffering PTSD, man.
She left his ass. No, she gone now. She gone now.
No. Let's be honest here. Klitschko may not have taken much damage in that fight compared to Chad Dawson. I give you that. But from a psychological standpoint, he was confident that he could beat Fury, and Fury humiliated him.
Hold on. No.
He beat Fury in the head beforehand, Dan. He beat him in the head beforehand.
And he thought he could beat Fury again. That's why he wanted the rematch. Who turned the rematch down? Fury did.
Of course. But that's why he
wasn't gonna win shit. He wasn't gonna win shit fighting like he fought. He was old.
Mental gain. There was no mental gain because he wanted Fury again. And Fury.
Okay. Let me ask you this: did you expect Joshua to knock down? Your mic is breaking up, Dan. Your mic is breaking up.
Hey, let's go back to Michael and Unbiased, man. That's the one, man. Let's go back to
EJ, stop.
No, he apologized for misquoting me. I'm good.
Yeah, he apologized.
I'm good.
All right, fair enough.
What about now?
Yeah, go ahead.
I was enjoying that.
Yeah,
that was.
Yeah, when so be truthful here. When the Joshua and Klitschko fight got made, who'd you expect? Did you expect Joshua to knock out Klitschko with ease?
No.
Really? Who you thought was going to win that fight? Joshua, right?
I honestly didn't know because it all depended on what version of Klitschko we were going to get.
So you thought he was a changed man after the Fury fight, right?
Nah, see, Fury is an anomaly. Fury fights down to his competition, so Fury that doesn't do anything for me. I got to look at how AJ fought, who he fought.
Well, you just said you didn't know what to expect from Klitschko after the Fury fight, so you have this assumption that he could have been a changed fighter after that fight, after what you just said, right?
It was a 2-year layoff, so. I did
at 40. I'd rather be knocked out at 30, get a year off, than to be coming off a loss and a half a year layoff and fight at 40 versus Anthony Joshua. I promise you guys.
Dawson took a year off. Didn't Dawson take a year off?
No. But take the context of what I said. I'd much rather be 30 years old like Chad Dawson was, fighting a 35-year-old man that's smaller than me, coming up in weight that has never fought on my level. I'd rather be in Chad Dawson's position. Until I find out what happened with that one punch. Going into the fight, I'd much rather be in Dawson's position. Like Klitschko, nah, bro. I'd rather be Dawson. Klitschko, to me, he did. I'm being honest with you. You can go back to Mike's show. When I was on Mike's show, and this fight was coming out, I was on there hard. I said, y'all praising this bullshit. This supposed to be a whooping. If he don't whoop his ass, blah, 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 blah. Only thing that made me feel different about that fight is that Vladimir Klitschko showed up and Joshua showed enough. We learned he had heart. Other than that, we weren't supposed to learn shit about his heart in that fight. We were supposed to learn.
He right. Disagreed with him somewhat, but he right. Low right. Yeah, he is. But you know what?
Well, I mean, in fact, To be honest, though, before fighting Vladimir Klitschko, I don't think Anthony Joshua fought anybody that resembles that kind of Eastern European jab clinch style. So
to be fair, neither did Stevenson. Neither did Stevenson when he fought Dawson. He didn't fight anyone that on the caliber of Dawson before taking that fight. So same.
He ain't even fought a Dillian White yet. that motherfucker ain't did nothing. Bro, he ain't even fought a Charles Martin yet. You think it's a game? Bro,
he didn't fight
he didn't have no opponents. He was literally fighting to get in mandatory position. He was the mandatory by fighting God knows who. Like, nah, man, he wasn't supposed to win that. I told you the plan was this, and everybody.
That's cool. I get it.
The plan was to make Ward Dawson 2 at 175. They had Ward right there ringside, and Stevenson threw a big ass left hand in those plans, and it was done. Done.
See, I understand the whole, again, you got to put the context to it.
I just gave you all the context.
Yeah, we're talking about the underdog, and that's fine. The underdog story, that's cool, but the context of it, what actually happened was
the context of you just
got knocked out.
Also said the context of the level of the fighters. You just said that Anthony Joshua did not fight anyone to prepare himself for the likes of Vladimir Klitschko. But to be fair,
Anthony Joshua was also looked at as a prospect.
Yeah, but he he beat Dillian White. Okay, they were both prospects on a British level. Fine, so what? But he fought a Dominic Brazil before that. He fought an Eric Molina before that. He fought a Charles Martin before that. Stevenson didn't fight anyone on that type of level before he fought Dawson.
Dominic Brazil before that, from what I recall as well.
On that level before he fought Dawson.
Stevenson was knocked out.
No. So he was knocked out against the cab driver, Darnell Boone. So come on, man. Prior to that.
I get that, but also, like I said, though, Klitschko didn't take damage in his fight previously, whereas Dawson got stretched.
I like you, but you know me. I don't like Adonis Stevenson, but I got to side with Lowe on this one. Stevenson, to me, had a little bit better significant win than Joshua did with Klitschko, based off the circumstances. I have to be real.
I'm gonna ask you this: what you think is worse? 40 years in the sport, being knocked out twice already, being wobbled by people already, like 40 years in this sport, and the man has showed you in the fight with the boy from Philly that he losing a little bit. What you think is worse? Me getting that loss out the way at 30 years old, or me being 40 out here showing people I'm losing it after I done been knocked out a few times already? You literally gonna tell me you'd rather be a 40-year-old? That's what you want to do.
I think, in my opinion, I think the Klitschko fight was a better win.
Look, let me say this real quick, and I'm gonna go chill out real quick. Look. Lomachenko, I believe, is 31 years old. Am I correct?
Yeah, 31.
Okay, he got dropped. He got dropped at 30. I love Adonis Stevenson. 41 years old. I'm talking about the one that even before going into the Badu Jack fight. I don't give me the Lomachenko that got put on his ass versus Linares. Got hit a lot, and that's what people say. I'd rather be him than to be a 40-year-old Adonis Stevenson who hadn't even taken the Badu Jack fight yet. Dude, 40 ain't something you trying to be in boxing. Put me on my ass, wake me up at 32, and I'm gonna get better. No 40, son. No 40. Nah.
Yeah, but like I said, Unbiased, man, you're cool, brother, but we all agree to disagree on something, though, man. Look,
yo, man, don't be nice to him. He needs to go on the hater report. That's where he needs to go. That's where he's going. He's going on the hater report.
Why am I a hater? Because I don't hate on Adonis. I just think that at that time, like I said, man, look, Adonis, Dawson got stretched before that, so obviously that's going to take a toll. Like we all know Klitschko. We all know Klitschko been stretched before.
You're getting on the hater report. You're getting on the hater report. That's what I'm saying.
Mike, ask you to do it.
Yo, Dan.
Breaking up, Dan.
Guys on the water, man.
I can't understand.
After Dan.
Yeah, but you're gonna keep. You're gonna ask me. You're gonna ask me who I pick.
No. I'm not gonna ask you who you pick. I'm not asking you that. No. I'm not asking you nothing about a pick. I'm simply asking you, who would you rather be? Who would you rather be? 30-year-old Dawson or 40-year-old Klitschko coming off a year? Which one would you rather be as a fighter right now?
I most likely would want to be Vladimir Klitschko.
No, I'm saying that. Let me make sure I'm giving it to you right, so you can. I don't know. Your answer gonna be your answer, but I'm gonna give it to you right. Okay, Stevenson Dawson fought in 2013. Dawson, would you rather be that Dawson going into that ring at 30 years old, or would you be rather
Klitschko.
be 41 years old? Oh, okay.
Klitschko. Easy because.
Well,
You want to know why? Because I don't know. Look, Dawson. Dawson was extremely drained in the Ward fight, and you could tell, and then having that to take a toll on your body. Tomorrow go lose. Tomorrow start your plan to lose 30 pounds to get into whatever the weight class limit is, and then after you get stretched, go back up. You know what I'm saying? That's going to take a toll on your body. No matter what.
No, that's what the body's gonna naturally want to do. Right?
It is.
I'm biased. Going back up is not like going down. It's just not.
Right, but when you have to go down, it's going to take the toll on your body.
Going back up is the recovery, though. Going back up is
going back up. Going back up is not going back down. That will take a toll on your body.
Exactly, and then going back up.
But once you make the weight, okay. When you go back up, it's not. I mean that phase has surpassed. Is what I'm saying. When you go
all
back
the electrolytes and nutrients in your system that comes from coming down, you should replenish yourself by going back up the division. That's what he's saying.
Too late.
Right. No, I understand that, but.
Bias, you getting that work, Bias, man. Bias, you getting that work.
He didn't stay at 168 for a reason. Chad Dawson, he didn't make it and be like, okay, I'm staying because I was drained. I'm gonna get used to it. He said, hell no, take me back where my body says I need to be. All right, it's beneficial to go up and wait. That's not a point at all. That's not a point.
Then you got knocked out on top of that. So
you fought
were drained, then you got stretched.
The only one. Tony Bell got knocked out too. It wasn't nothing about you the only one that's gonna happen to. Plenty others got it too. You know, it is what it is. Shit. Come on, man.
Bias, man. That's it, man. You're on the report. You're on the report, bro. That's it.
I'm just still stuck on the fact that Morrison had a better career than Dawson. I'm still stuck on that. I'm sorry.
No, he didn't say that. I'll step in. He didn't say that. He said.
I mean, the comparison, though. The comparison. Within the comparison, he go to Mitchell. Boy, come on.
He said Adamic and I about called him. What's his name again? Tommy Morrison.
Thomas Adamic and Tommy Morrison.
But still, he shouldn't be in this discussion at all.
So why should Steve Cunningham? Yeah, but why should Steve Cunningham?
Steve Cunningham did far work at cruiserweight the time Morrison did a heavyweight, bro.
Thank you, Dan. Who did he beat?
Okay. He beat Ottoman, for God's sakes. Okay, didn't he also beat Mormon too? Help me out here,
Steve
Mike.
Cunningham. Are you talking about Steve Cunningham?
He beat Marco Huck. Let me finish.
Not only did he beat Marco Huck, he cleaned his ass up. He cleaned him up. He got him out of there, man.
He beat Marco Huck. He beat Dwarfit. He beat Wayne. He beat Wayne Braithwaite. He beat Juan Pablo Hernandez twice.
Oh yeah, the cruiserweight. He was a lineal cruiser. No, he was not lineal.
No, he lost to Juan Pablo Hernandez twice. He didn't win that.
I'm sorry, he lost him twice, but still.
So he lost him twice. Again, his best win is Amir Mansour. Amir Mansour.
He beat Lencina.
You guys even talking about you? This is what I'm saying.
Amir Mansour is not going to get
He said Michael don't know what he's talking about. That's deep, bro.
He beat
Marco Huck
on the road.
Marco Huck
on the road.
I don't care about that. Marco Huck. Listen, Marco Huck and Amir Mansour. Those are his only good wins.
Was Cunningham the favorite to beat Marco Huck? Was he supposed to win that fight? I don't think so.
He
tripping. That Foreman win. Hold up. If you want to ride on that Foreman win, guess what? Morrison was favored to win that fight. He was set up to win it.
And he beat Guillermo Jones. Yeah,
man, get out of here. Come on, man.
Won.
Outside of
Guillermo Jones.
Hey. What did Morrison do?
He still won.
The same Guillermo. Wait a minute. The same Guillermo Jones who had Lebedev looking like the Elephant Man.
Mm-hmm.
Cunningham beat that dude. Really?
Yeah, hey, I'm biased. What did Tommy Morrison do after the Foreman fight? What did he do?
Man, he got
knocked out in one round. He got knocked out in one round.
Yeah, he beat Razor Ruddock.
Michael fucking Big.
He beat Razor Ruddock.
Oh, here we go with Razor Ruddock again, man.
Razor Ruddock, and he beat George Foreman. He beat Ross Purity. He beat Ross Purity.
Wait, Ross Purity? What the fuck?
He's back. Yeah, biased.
Wait.
Biased.
Ross Purity beat Vladimir Klitschko, didn't he?
Come on.
Yeah, see? Yep.
He did. Yeah, he did.
He did. Thank you.
That's a good fighter. Wait, hold up. Does that make Ross Purity a good fighter? Does that make him a good fighter?
Man, better than Gladys, man.
So hard, bro.
If it doesn't make him a good fighter, why did you throw him in the discussion?
Nah, I'm reaching. I'm reaching for that one.
Oh man, you admitted that you're done. Then you're done. Put the fork in, and he's done. That's it. He's done.
When you reach like that, stop it.
Yeah.
Man, like I said, Dawson put in more. I'm just being real, man. Dawson fought. We all agree on this. He fought a lot better competition and beat better competition in his weight class than Klitschko did. That's a fact.
Yeah, he did.
Yeah, he did that. All right. And again, going back to Stevenson's comparison with Joshua and Klitschko, Stevenson wasn't even supposed to beat fucking Dawson. Nobody thought he was going to win that fight.
Yeah.
So, as opposed to Joshua, people thought he was going to win that fight against Klitschko. He had everything in his way, in his favor, going into that fight.
One-sided, Unbiased. Got bodied up in there.
DJ Boxing Live here.